I've been a fan of pandas for all my life. I've always wanted to cuddle a cub and get close to a panda in the wild. On my Chinese journey, I'll meet other extraordinary creatures too. It won't be easy finding one of the world's most elusive creatures. Travel with me on my journeys in China for panda adventure. I'm near Xi'an City in central China with the Terracotta Army. Made to protect the first emperor in the afterlife, these soldiers are some 2,000 years old. The clay warriors are a national treasure. It was a pleasure meeting them, but a rarer national treasure, the giant panda, was the main reason for my mission to China. Only around 2,000 remain in the wild and in captivity. I wanted to learn everything I could about them, and most of all, meet one in the wild. In the time of the first emperor, pandas were found over much of China. Today, they're restricted to portions of just 6 mountain ranges. In panda country, I've had some tremendous luck in encountering the black and white bears, and have had many other adventures too. Last time, I was mugged by monkeys. On Imei Mountain, Tibetan macaques thieve from tourists. This is robbery with menaces. The monkeys can be frightening. Their canine teeth are 3 centimetres long. And they can also pack a punch. Oh! One in the eye for the macaques. I was on the mountain to visit an ancient temple. Inside, I just had to touch a statue that honours the protector of the mountain. It's vast, weighs over 6 tons, made of copper and bronze, and it rises to a height of over 8.5 metres. To bring me luck, I need to touch the elephant's leg. Please help me find a wild panda. And it seemed my wish was granted. In Phoping Panda Reserve.
An handkerchief-sized piece of black and white fur. My first view of a wild panda. There, I can see her face through a gap. She's looking at us. Of a panda in the wild.
That was thrilling enough, but the best was yet to come. A report of a mother and cub had us on the run. What little breath I had left was taken away when we caught up with them.
This is beyond my wildest dreams. There's a female panda suckling her cub. This is extraordinary. She's looking right at me. There's only around 1,800 of these animals left in the wild. What a privilege this is for me. It's definitely suckling. I can hear its little cries. I'd give anything to see the baby.
On this occasion, I never did lay eyes on the cub. It was always shielded by its mother. Even so, the trackers and I had much to celebrate. During the banquet, I couldn't stop thinking about the panda cub that was heard but not seen. Even after several toasts with hot maize wine. I was determined to track it down. Somewhere in these forested hills is the baby panda I'm desperate to see. Foping Reserve in central China is 5 times the size of Manhattan. If the cub was fully mobile, finding it would be near impossible. But the baby is 2, perhaps 3 months old and is still being carried by its mum, so they shouldn't have gone far. We have a chance of seeing the cub if we search where we found them last. The team and I head out to the exact spot where we saw the panda family before. After all the weeks I've spent here, I'm used to Foping's ups and downs. Woohoo! A stream bed is the quickest but trickiest route.
Rocks are very slippery, so it's good to have a handrail. Oh.
But as usual, the biggest obstacle to tracking down the pandas is this stuff.
You can see why the giant panda is one of the most elusive animals on Earth. They live in such dense habitat. All I need to do is drop down. I'm just a few meters away from the camera and I'm completely invisible. That's why pandas are so hard to find.
But of course, if it wasn't for bamboo, there wouldn't be any pandas. It provides 99% of their food. More than 60 species of bamboo grow in the mountain ranges where the pandas live. The bears eat about 10 kinds, choosing bamboo species that are comparatively high in protein and low in fibre. That's all well and good. I just wish bamboo thickets weren't so dense, especially now when we're closing in on where we last saw the pandas. I hope they haven't done a flit, as this spectacled foalvetter does. Or are the pandas being spied upon by this crimson-breasted woodpecker? A tracker's whistle spurs us onward and upward. At the top of the slope, a tracker has the female panda in his sights. She's feeding busily and seems to be alone. Can we find her baby? Autumn in central China's Foping Reserve. We're hot on the trail of a panda cub. Its mother is feeding alone. Her baby must be nearby. I'm determined to see a panda cub in the wild. I'm hoping the baby isn't hidden away in a hollow tree or cave. Fingers crossed, Mum's left it in a bamboo thicket.
This is beyond my wildest imaginings. The female panda's feeding about 100 metres over there. And this is her cub. I reckon this baby's 6 weeks to 2 months old.
The mother will have carried it here in her mouth.
They don't start walking properly and following their mum until they're 5 months old. She won't leave it for long. Leopards and wild dogs will eat young pandas. When she returns, she'll suckle it and carry the baby to a secure den. You can see how vulnerable and defenseless this baby is. Even this young, it should have the black and white markings of an adult panda. So this is very strange.
This baby's fur is cream and brown.
Maybe this cub is the rarest of the rare.
we've since confirmed this is a brown panda, only the 5th known to science and the first to be filmed in the wild.
This baby is very precious indeed. And this is a dream I've had since I was a little boy. I couldn't have asked for anything more. This adorable panda cub is within touching distance. It's definitely one of the greatest moments of my life. I'm going to move away now, just in case Mum comes back. This has been stupendous.
This R factor will help save giant pandas from extinction. Protecting these black and white bears will bring many other benefits.
There's no doubt in my mind that we have to do everything we can to save the giant panda and its habitat. If the panda lives on, so do hundreds of other species: tarkin, golden monkeys, bamboo rats.
On my adventures, I've been lucky enough to meet many of the other charismatic creatures that live in panda country.
Giant pandas aren't the only mammals that rely on bamboo. Some smaller ones feed on bamboo leaves, even make their beds out of them. There's one. They're quite slow moving. Let me see if I can corral it so we can get a good look. The Chinese bamboo rat. Got a quite nice view of its bottom. Here, a short tail. Oh, that fur feels so soft. You can see those really powerful jaws. Just like a panda, this little thing makes a living from munching bamboo. He's got tiny little eyes. If you're a burrowing creature and have small eyes, you've got less chance of getting sand or grit in them. And also, it's not like he has to look for food, it's all around him. And tonight, he'll get some leaves, drag them underground, and during the day tomorrow, curl up and have a beautiful sleep in a bed of bamboo. There we go. Off you go home.
I saw other wondrous animals in broad daylight.
Treetops are moving, they're on their way. Golden leaves and golden monkeys.
These primates are normally nervous, but this group has been studied for years, so they're used to people.
The main family unit is a male with 6 or 7 females, and they're young. There's a male here, he's guarding his females. He's got this amazing mane of fur on the back. Dark black fur, females have got brown fur. Both sexes have bright blue skin on the face. The males have these lappets in the corner of their mouths.
These fleshy flaps are unique to golden monkeys. No one's quite sure of their use.
Could be some conflict here. There's another male coming down here. He'll be the leader of another family unit. And if the males come together, you get this. There's a fight going on, a lot of noise. Male chasing another one away there. Rushing all around me here.
All this noise and bared teeth are for show. Squabbles rarely result in injury.
I feel like I'm right in the middle of a family group of golden monkeys now. There's the alpha male. He's got a blue face, and I shouldn't really look, but he's also got matching blue genitals. He has a harem of 6 to 7 females. They all travel around together with their babies. Another family group joining us. Because there's so much food here, they gather together. Sometimes they can be found in huge groups, over 600 animals. For a primate that's not a human, that's a tremendous number. Then when food gets scarce, the big groups disperse and they split back down into their family units again. You think of monkeys living in the tropics where there's succulent flowers and fruits. There's very few that live in temperate climates. The golden monkey is one of them. This can be a pretty inhospitable environment. It gets very cold in winter, down to -10, but they've got specialised stomachs for digesting tough, fibrous food. They can feed on pine and fir needles, bark. They even eat lichens. The autumn is a time of plenty for them. They're finding lots of nuts and fruits at this time of year.
Just like another resident of the bamboo forests. It's a remarkable rodent that treated me to a fly past. To take a look, we had to knock on its front door.
Let's see if anyone's at home. And there, wow, popped its head out. It's a red and white giant flying squirrel. Extraordinary blue eyes. The squirrel's shot above the hole. This is a really big squirrel. They grow to be about 60 centimetres long, and that's without the tail. And there, gliding down the valley, just this blur of red and white fur.
A flight can be over 400 metres.
What a superb aeronaut.
I also met a scaly sunbather.
Snake! That's what I came up on the riverbank for. Ooh! Don't bite my nose! Please! This is a big-eyed rat snake. You can see it's so long and slender. This is built for speed. Could easily chase down a lizard. See by those big round pupils that it hunts by day. Hasn't got the vertical pupils of a nocturnal snake. And you see the tongue coming out all of the time here. The tongue tips flick back into the mouth. Snakes have got a special organ called Jacobson's organ. Chemical sensors there, so the snake is totally aware of the odours around it. Sticking its tongue out like that may also be trying to scare me. And I'm going to unwrap this. Come on, fella. Off he goes.
The bamboo forests are also home to a contender for China's national bird.
Look, feather of a golden pheasant. The males have colours that you have to see to believe.
Golden pheasants are unique to the mountains of central China. In spring, the male flaunts his finery to attract a mate. He fans out his orange and black cape and gives the hen a broadside. This time, he's failed to catch her eye. I explored water worlds in Panda Country too. I came to search for a truly rare river creature. But I had to wait until nightfall. The monster I wanted to see is a nocturnal prowler.
The giants that live in these frigid mountain streams usually leave their lairs at night. Oh, this water takes your breath away, but it's worth it to show you this fabulous creature. This is as precious as a panda, the Chinese giant salamander, the largest in the world. When they're full grown, they can be 6 feet, 1.8 metres long, nearly as long as I'm tall. This is a teenager, about 15 years old. They live to a ripe old age, over 50 years. This is absolutely wonderful. Never leave the water. got this wrinkled skin which they breathe through. That's why they live in these fast-flowing streams full of oxygen. Come out at night to catch their food. They live on worms, insects, and small shrimps. They catch their prey by lunging out and snapping those jaws sideways. Very good parents. In the autumn, the female lays between 400 and 500 eggs. The male then protects the eggs until they hatch in the spring. He's with them for the whole of the winter, chasing away fish or any other predators. Sadly, Chinese giant salamanders are critically endangered. They're a delicacy here, but now the government have given them complete protection, so hopefully in the future, these fabulous creatures won't be on anyone's menu. How could anyone eat you? Now I'm going to let this gorgeous giant back into its stream.
I saw other endangered creatures too.
There they are. At last, a golden tarkin, standing proud on the hillside. There's a whole herd of them here.
Some believe that their fur was the inspiration for the treasure sought by Jason and the Argonauts.
Whether they did produce the mythical golden fleece that Jason was after, I don't know, but tarkin are certainly fantasy creatures. They look like they're made up from bits and pieces of other animals. The other names for tarkin are cattle chamois and gnu goat. You can see elements of those animals in them. But really they're in a family of their own. They're sort of goat antelope. Lots of calves in the herd. There's one there going to have a drink from Mum.
This baby will be weaned at 9 months old.
It's a young calf there playing, jumping around. Mum's looking on.
I just adored taking time out with Tarkin. But in panda country, there are other peculiar animals at Tarkin hoof height that I just didn't want to miss. After the break, I set traps to see them.
There we go.
On my adventures in China, I spent many glorious weeks in panda country. This is Foping Reserve, a vital sanctuary. Not just for pandas, but for thousands of other species too. I was intrigued by the smaller creatures that can scamper in a panda's paw print.
A trap that's been tripped. This is one I was really hoping we'd catch. Look at that. This is a Chinese mole shrew. The reason I don't need the polythene bags for this little creature, shrews are insectivores, not rodents, and as far as I know, they can't transmit diseases to humans like rats and mice can. And even though this is a ferocious predator, its little teeth can barely break the skin of a human. Little Squeak there, one of the only shrews that's adapted to live a subterranean life. Wonderful soft velvety fur. See why it's called a mole shrew? It looks like a cross between a shrew and a mole. Lovely pink nose, tiny little eyes. They don't need to see very well. They spend most of their time underground or foraging underneath leaf litter. Use those noses to smell out worms and other insects. Shrews are ruled by their stomachs. I've got a worm here, so if we're lucky, we can see him eat a meal before he disappears back into the forest.
My manhandling certainly hasn't put him off his food.
He's really chowing down on the earthworm. Can't believe he can eat all of it.
They need to consume almost their own body weight every 24 hours.
Hasn't finished away, he goes. Burrowing so quickly. In the soil in a flash. This one's been sprung. I wonder what's inside. It's always exciting, this. Oh, a jumper,
And Niviventa, you wait till you see this. Most of us, when we think of rats, we think of black rats and brown rats, but there's many other rats. There we go. This is a classic Niviventa. So you can see this amazing demarcation between the brown fur on the upper body and the creamy white tummy below. There are 17 species of Niviventas in the world. 10 of them live in China. So Niviventa's a Chinese speciality. This one's probably one of this year's young, born in the spring. They grow a bit larger than this. See how relaxed he is? He's feeding on a peanut in the bag. I'm not a great fan of rats, but this is a beautiful one. Let's let you go now. Elegant rats weren't the only creatures I set out to trap in panda country. In Foping, winged beauties lit up my life. What a moth spectacular. The light's only been on for about an hour and there is a whole variety of species here. All sorts of shapes and colours. There's vivid green ones. Over there, there's a tiny creamy white moth with bars of apricot. There's a wonderful hawk moth down there. And up here, this underwing moth, watch this, when I touch it, it flashes this blue colour on its underwings to frighten away predators. Down here, there's one of a group of moths that has a very special link with China, a silk moth. You can tell that by these transparent windows in the wings. I can tell it's a male because it's got these feathery antennae. Those are jam-packed with chemical receptors. The females produce a perfume, a pheromone. The males follow that scent trail to their mates. They can fly for many kilometres to find a female. Like all silk moths, this moth hatched out of a chrysalis that was protected inside a silken cocoon. That silk was spun by the caterpillar to protect the chrysalis inside from predators like mice and birds. And why the special connection with China? Well, around 4,000 years ago, a Chinese empress somehow had a silk moth cocoon. She accidentally dropped it into a boiling cup of tea. It began to unravel. And legend has it, the secret of silk was discovered. Cocoons still get into hot water today. It loosens their tightly woven fibres. Astonishingly, a cocoon is made of a single silken filament up to 900 metres long. Several of these are twisted together to make a silk thread. In the sorting room, cocoons are quality checked before boiling. Each fluffy white cocoon is spun by a silk moth caterpillar. To produce enough silk for just 30 dressing gowns, you'd need 30,000 caterpillars and a ton of mulberry leaves to feed them on. The Chinese closely guarded the secrets of producing silk for over 2 millennia. Silk will forever be associated with China, as will the animal that features in many traditional designs. Silken panda cubs, or real ones, have the R factor in spades. On my panda adventure, I was charmed by many cubs. Now it's time to catch up with the ones I got to know. 5 cubs have been born at San Diego Zoo in California. I went there to find out about their panda dynasty. Gao Gao is the breeding male. He's successfully fathered cubs, with Baiyun his mate. This is their cub, Mei Sheng, showing off in artificial snow. Two years later, another healthy cub was born. She was named Su Lin, which means a little bit of something very cute. By now, San Diego was building a reputation as a panda breeding centre. Like clockwork, 2 years later, Zhen Zhen arrived, another daughter for Bai Yun. On her first birthday, she was given an iced carrot cake. She preferred playing on it to eating it. In the spring of 2009, Gao Gao seemed interested in pairing up with Bai Yun once again. They live alone and only meet to mate. The team are on tenterhooks. Is this the right moment for Bai Yun? Female pandas can be aggressive. They've timed it just right. Today, the pandas are lovers, not fighters. Now the team face a nail-biting few months for confirmation of whether Bai Yun is pregnant. By now, she's well used to ultrasound checkups. Pandas show no outward signs of pregnancy, but 15 weeks after mating, the ultrasound reveals a cub. Soon after, the miracle of a panda birth. A panda cub is much smaller in proportion to the mother than any other newborn bears. The helpless cub is 800 times smaller than its mum. The baby's loud squeaks help Bai Yun locate it. She moves carefully so as not to squash her baby. 29 days later, the baby has its first checkup. It's a boy. Still quite helpless, his eyes are closed. He'll open them for the first time at around 40 days old. I met the cub, now named Yunzi, at his 18-week checkup. Just like a human infant, the baby panda has to be monitored regularly to make sure he's fit, healthy, and developing properly. Kathy, Yunzi, it's a charming name. What does it mean?
It means son of cloud. And I think that is a very fitting name for this little guy because it honors his mother, Bai Yun, and because her name means white cloud.
So Bai Yun's really living up to her reputation as being the best panda mum in the world.
Absolutely.
Another perfect cub, so this is her fifth.
Isn't that amazing? 5 cubs. He's going to be ready, I think, for his debut here within the next month.
So the public will see him for the first time. What a splendid occasion this is. Big crowds and the media have gathered to see Yunzi make his first public appearance. Proud mum Bai Yun leads her 5-month-old cub into the spotlight. Unfazed by all the attention, he explores and practices climbing on mum. Bai Yun has seen all this before and casually munches on choice bamboo while her learner climber becomes braver. Like any toddler mastering a new skill, Yunzi will have setbacks on the way. He's okay, it was a soft landing. In the US, pandas are superstars. Their celebrity status is just as strong in their native China. No more so than in the panda capital of the world. Chengdu, the capital of Sichuan province, is in the center of the country. I visited the city at the start of my panda adventure. Chengdu is home to 5 million people and about 80 giant pandas. The city is so proud of its black and white bears, there's a picture of one on the bonnet of every taxi. There's even a giant statue of a mother and cub in the city centre. Before meeting flesh and blood pandas, I couldn't resist a trip to the opera. Don't blink or you'll miss the lightning-quick mask changes.
China's certainly got talent.
The next morning, I went to Chengdu's panda base. State-of-the-art enclosures are where the A-list celebrities relax and play. The stars' special dietary requests are met with almost 2.5 tons of bamboo every day. I joined some starlets for lunch.
They spend up to 16 hours a day doing this. Pandas are the ultimate bamboo busters. They prefer thin stalks of bamboo, but they can break into stems that are twice the thickness of my thumb. So thick, they jam a wood chipping machine. Laying back like that, looks like she's relaxing in an armchair. All this spilt food on that great big tummy. To seize bamboo, pandas have very unusual hands. They're one of the few animals that can grip tightly and precisely, just like we can. They've got thumbs. Well, they're not really thumbs. They're a pseudo thumb. They're an extension of a bone in the wrist.
The extra digit is covered in horny skin.
The way she actually pushes the bamboo stalk against the thumb and the 5 fingers, that's how they can grip precisely.
Holding things like we do is just one of the reasons for the popularity of pandas. They appear in nearly everyone's list of top 10 animals. That colour scheme, their soft and cuddly look and rarity value all add to their appeal. Giant pandas are true superstars, and other A-list celebrities want to rub shoulders with them. Today, it's action hero Jackie Chan. Jackie is Chengdu Base's first panda ambassador. 2 of this year's cubs will be named after him. Jackie's Chinese name is Cheng Long, so this pair of pandas are called Cheng Cheng and Long Long. I wonder if Jackie had the same dream as I did. I've wanted to cuddle a panda cub ever since I was a boy. After the break, I do just that. One of the highlights on my adventures with pandas was meeting these 8-month-old cubs at Chengdu Panda Base.
And this is my first close-up view of a panda, a little cub. They look so soft to touch, but the fur is very coarse.
It's stiff too, not soft as you imagine it would be.
Really likes playing. They are very powerful. Got quite sharp teeth. Like human babies, pandas start growing milk teeth when they're 6 months old. At this age, they've got 24 teeth, fully grown. They have a massive battery of teeth, over 40 of them. Look, here come a posse of pandas. Now I'm surrounded by them. Chengdu Breeding Centre had a terrific year. 18 cubs were reared successfully.
Each of these babies is priceless. there's only around 200 captive pandas in the world, so breeding them is vital. These young adults aren't being amorous, they're just playing. But more cubs are born at Chengdu Panda Base than anywhere else in the world. It used to be thought that in captivity, pandas just weren't interested in sex. But that's a myth. Until recently, we just didn't know how to be panda matchmakers. Females are only on heat for about a week in the spring. Then they're eager to mate. To get the timing just right, a battery of tests is carried out on a female's urine sample. Hormone levels are analysed and recorded. With only around 2,000 pandas left and over 10% of those in captivity, no wonder Chengdu goes to great lengths to give their panda bears the best chance to breed. At the base, I met the newest cubs of the year.
I'm so excited about this. This is the nursery stroke intensive care unit. All of the panda cubs come here. 10 o'clock in the morning is one of the busiest times here at the nursery. There's babies coming in to be weighed and fed. Keepers take meticulous notes, weights and measures, how much milk the babies have had. They need to be sure they're developing properly. This is a real precious bundle, the newest baby of the year.
It's so tiny. At birth, pandas only weigh 100 grams. This one is only a few weeks old.
This is great to see. Chengdu Panda Base, other centres around the world, they're starting to crack the problems of breeding pandas in captivity. In the past, when a female panda had twins, one of them always used to die.
That's because panda mums can't produce enough milk for 2 babies. Researchers came up with a simple solution. At any time, only one twin is kept with mum. After a cuddle and a meal of nutritious milk, the cub is gently taken away. It's headed back to the nursery where it can be bottle fed. Now the twin has its turn with mother. The cubs have been swapped. In this way, they both get the milk they need and enjoy quality time with mum.
So with a bit of extra help with feeding, the mother can successfully rear both of her cubs.
One day, captive pandas may be released to boost numbers in the wild. If that happens, Chengdu's research will take on even greater significance. As my panda adventures draw to a close, I can't resist one last visit to the first cubs I cuddled. Now they're over a year old. With these moves, this Kung Fu panda must be one of the bears named after Jackie Chan. Will these somersaults ever end? The biggest role these cubs will ever play will be in the survival of their species.
What a year I've had with pandas. Surely one of the most beautiful animals on Earth, and definitely one of the rarest. The Chinese are so proud of their pandas and are determined that they won't become extinct. 20 years ago, there wasn't much chance that these animals would survive, but now, with captive breeding programs and big areas of habitat protected in the wild, they've got the best chance in years for survival, haven't you?
I really hope that giant pandas and the other spectacular creatures that share their bamboo forest home have a positive future ahead.